Often when I make videos that cover something in the UK, whether it's the crypto taxes or just generic commentary on the state of living here, a valid question people ask is, why not just move? I complain about quite a lot of it, and most people in the UK do. You know, today's a nice sunny day. Why don't I just move and all my problems will be solved? And it's a very good question, actually. Let's just say then that I hypothetically, move to, I don't know, Spain, Greece, Portugal. Let's just focus on somewhere that has got sun and lower taxes. And I can tell you what would happen. So the first, let's say 2-3 months of arriving, the dopamine will be high. So I'd be in a sunnier climate, more time on the beach, more sun, better kind of lifestyle during the day. You know, you've got your sitting outside having your coffee, having a beer in the sun in the evening or the weekends, not every night, obviously. Better food. But I would know that for me personally, after those first few months, once the kind of dopamine high wears off, the reality of living, you know, thousands of miles away from where I grew up would then set in. So it'd be, you know, my parents don't live in England. Not that you'd know that. So it wouldn't make that much of a difference personally with that, because I see them a couple of times a year. But obviously I won't be in around any friends at all, right? I won't be in around any of them. So I would start feeling a bit isolated, to be honest with you. It will be hard to meet any of them for a beer, for food, a hike, you know, breakfast, golf, going to a football match, things I enjoy doing. And you could easily say, oh, make some new friends. And it's like, well, I don't want to make friends just to do stuff with. You know, it's a bit weird, you know what I mean? And these are, you know, good friends that I have. And it would be, you know, hard not having that kind of outlet to go to on a day-to-day basis. It's not to say that I see my friends every single day now. You know, probably on a weekly basis. I do meet up with them and see them. But I definitely feel that sense of isolation, I think, after that period of time. I also have, you know, other family in the UK, not specifically parents, and, you know, locally as well. I've got, you know, girlfriends, the family and stuff that I do see, you know, play golf, etc. So that would then go. And it's kind of like, you know, I do think that even though the taxes may be better, even though the weather may slightly be better, it's like the actual environment that I'm in probably wouldn't be as fun long term. And it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like, if you were to get 5 of your best friends and you were to just sit in an empty room, so, you know, no view, no windows, in a room with 5 mates, you probably have a fun time. There'd probably be a lot of jokes, and it probably actually would be more fun than it should be, right? You spend time with 5 strangers, whoever they are, in a nice tropical location, and it probably will be less fun than in that room with 5 of your best mates in a garage with no windows. You'd have a better time. And I think that's what it comes down to a lot. Obviously, as life goes on, priorities change, lifestyles change. I've got a son, so it is harder to up sticks. And then maybe as time goes on, throughout the next few years or going forward, I may split my time between the UK and abroad, etc., just to get the best of both worlds. But at the moment, I think it does kind of suit me when I'm in kind of grind and, you know, growing the channel, growing the business kind of mode, rather than like reflection and more winding down mode. And don't get me wrong, you know, my parents live abroad, they're in retirement mode, they're enjoying it, but they're in a different stage that I'm in. And I quite enjoy where I live anyway. You know, I do moan about the taxes, I do moan about the weather, but it is what it is. You know, I frequently travel. Obviously, you know, I went to Turkey. I've got a few more trips planned this year, both here in the UK and abroad. So I do mix things up with that. So it's not like I'm not seeing any of the sun, seeing any culture abroad or whatever. That, believe me, will get ticked off at the end of the year, and I'll do some vlogs to show that. But I think that's what everyone's got to weigh up in terms of where they look at maybe, oh, I want to go somewhere that's cheaper with my crypto. It's like, right, well, you've got there, what do you want to do? And it goes back to the same old kind of thing that comes up with a lot of people, where you hear this a lot, where people say, well, I just want to retire and go to the beach. And I've seen so many videos and read a lot of things where people actually do that and then just get bored after 2 weeks because they need a sense of purpose. And it's not actually what they want. You know, they retired or retired early or made the money, sold this, sold that, and they end up just living on a beach. One guy lived on the beach, just played video games, and he got bored after a month and actually wanted to just start working again. And it is that sense of purpose, it is that sense of belonging, it is that sense of community with who you've got, where you are, etc. So that is my reasons why I'm staying in the UK. Am I going to complain about it still? Yes. Do I want better weather? Yes. Do I want better, lower taxes, better crypto enthusiasm from the powers that be? Of course I do. But you've got to you've got to play with the cards that you dealt. And I've said this before, where, you know, you don't necessarily, in theory, the person with the best cards in poker always wins. But they don't. They don't. Someone with two awful cards can bluff their way and win just because they played it better than the person with two aces. It's just the way life is. And with anything in life, if you can just make what you've got work, you could be better than someone who has been blessed with lower taxes in crypto, blessed with the weather, etc. You can make it work better for you than them if you plan, strategy, make sure that your calendar throughout the year has got stuff in to vary what you're doing in life. And I think that's the same for anything. Anyway, I'm going on. If you enjoy what I do, if you enjoy the channel, like, subscribe. See you all very soon.